everybody. We're back to do another painting today. Today I'm going to do, I didn't decide what it's hard for me to decide what I'm going to do way ahead of time because I always have to feel the subject. I mean, I just have to have a feel for it, that that's what I'm in the mood to do. So a little while ago, I just went through my pictures on my tablet and I picked this one out. And it's kind of a house I took a picture of it. I was up north. That was either in Ohio or Michigan. I can't remember. I kind of collect painting subject photographs in one album in my phone, or a tablet. And so this is a northern house, and it's got a little front porch. And Jane's gonna inject the picture somewhere in this video, so you can see the picture that I'm using as a reference. So I just kind of like to show everybody how I start a painting and my thought process as I'm going through it. And believe me, when I started painting in acrylic, the teacher I had, he was excellent, and I'll throw his name out. It was Mark Moon. He's not with us anymore, but he really taught me to start a painting like this, with just really big, broad shapes and values. And it has made such a difference, but it was difficult for me to do that in the beginning. I didn't want to paint that way. I resisted it, and I just wanted to get in there and jump into the details where I was comfortable. And, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the way I was taught to do my acrylics. So here we go. I'm just going to kind of draw. I'm using Hooker's Green that picked up some yellow. This is not a fresh palette today because I still have great paint on it from yesterday.
Now, is that like a 24 by 24 canvas you're working on?
Yes, it is. Like this size. So we're just going to see part of this house. You know, I start off looking at my photograph to get, the initial drawing, and then I usually put the photograph away. I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to be like copying something. Painting is not always just copying. It's putting your own spin. Now this is going to be, so there's my house, and this is all shrubbery. And it has, I'm working in big shapes. Actually, I'm going to hold this up. This whole front part of the house with this kind of scrappy looking flowers, which are pretty. I say scrappy because they're not manicured. They look pretty natural. This is all just a shape. There happens to be like a little path here. You never make a line going to the corner. Just remember that. That was one of the rules. All those millions of rules. That was one of them. And this is what's really great right here in this photo is there's a fence here, and it's kind of like, this is the shape of it. It's like right here. And then, of course, more bushes all behind it. These people that lived in this house don't hire a landscaper. It's pretty wild.
Or they're not married to your husband.
That's right. Ooh, I didn't mean to pick up that green.
What green was that?
That was a yellow. Yellow was thrown in with the hookers, but I'm going to use it there anyway, so it doesn't matter. You know what I think I'm going to do? And there's a pine tree here, guys. No palm trees. Pine tree. I'm going to put it right here. And I don't know pine trees, but I know that the branches kind of reach out to the side and up a little bit. But I can't resist putting in the background, you know what, water. Here's my pine tree, and I think now this of course this particular photograph does not, I'm going to put a window here, have any water in it, but you know me, there's one window here. You know what, this is all wall right there. I don't want that window. I'm going to ignore that. I will put maybe my water level about right here. I know it probably is about the middle of the painting, but it's not a dominant thing in the painting, so I'm gonna do that. And that will be my water. Now, okay, so I think I pretty much have my major shapes in this painting. I filled up my canvas and I'm pretty happy with it. And so now I'm going to put some value in here. I cleaned off my brush and I'm picking up some white.
Okay, I'm just going to show your palette for a moment.
Okay, it's a couple days old.
But it looks really fresh.
I've been painting for the last 2 days.
Okay.
So, now this part of the porch is all in shadow. And so that's all shadow, but this part is light. And then this is the brim of the roof of the porch. And I have a pillar there. I'm going to put a pillar here. And I'm going to put one right here. Because now that I'm looking at the photograph, this is a little bit more the way it is. And then this is all. See, I don't worry about smearing paint. I kind of like it. And it's very early. All this I'll be going over it again. Now, this is my fence. Right here like that. And this is a little walkway. And let's see. Now I'm going to jump in and I am going to use that wonderful shadow color where I dip into light blue violet. This is all going on my brush. Some brilliant purple. And some Naples yellow. All of that is on there. And I'm just going to go in. Now I see it's too much Naples, so I'm going to add a little more blue. I use a lot of paint. And I think that's what, it just helps make it so much fun. I'm not worried about using too much paint. I should, but I don't. That's the porch there that's in shadow. And I think later on there is a branch that comes here and it's too wet for me to put that in right now, so I'm not going to. Now I'm going to, let's see, I can start adding some yellow.
Is that a cad yellow?
Yep. To my bushes. And when we do clumps of trees and bushes, we start off with the biggest shapes and then we'll work down to the finer leaves and maybe some flowers. But there's always these pockets inside where these branches are that is completely black because there is no light. We work from vague to detail at the end. Picking up some white, I like it. I'm going to get some real dark pockets. I'm just using straight Hooker's green, maybe a touch of alizarin crimson just to make it black. And I'm going to leave those bushes alone at this point. Oops. I've never painted this scene before.
And you're back to your cad yellow there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm going to make it really dark, right underneath the top of this shrub.
And that's just with straight
Hookers.
hookers.
I go through a lot of hookers. That sounds funny.
That sounds, yeah.
I
Great.
go through a lot of hookers green. Okay. This is, when you do a fence, you just want to kind of go in with the side of your brush and hit where the cracks are, but you don't want it all straight lines like a comb. You want to break up your lines. And that's going to start to read like fence.
The illusion of a fence.
That's
yes.
right. And I'm going to put some water in the background. I'm going to cut around because I want to fill my whole canvas with paint before I take this out to dry. I think I'm going to use some light blue violet.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't like this color, later on I can change it. I could take my glasses off maybe. I think I'm going to add some blue, more blue to it.
And that's still the same blue, like
Well,
blue.
this is light blue and
Light
that was
blue.
light blue violet.
Okay.
But everything's pretty wet. But I just kind of like the idea that look at those drips up there. Looks like a Christmas tree. I like the fact that there's just a lake back there.
Water girl.
I am. Now some sky. Okay, everybody's going to go crazy. Oh, watch me cut around this tree. I love it. It is so fun. You just kind of, because I'll go back in and do my tree again. But this just gives it that really funky, great shape to start. No fear. Can't.
And that's just light blue you added?
Yep. Just a little bit of this shrub sticking up here. My goal is to get this whole canvas covered with my basic first brush strokes. I'm picking up a little of that tree. It's okay. I'm not worried about that. Look at the wonderful shape the tree goes into when you paint around it. That's what I love. Everybody's so terrified of doing that, but it's fun. I'll cover that guy up.
And people can watch your negative...
Yeah, I do a video on that. Negative, positive. Negative painting is a positive thing.
yes. It's at the channel.
So that's as far as I am going to go today. You know, not today, but I mean for right now, I'm going to take it outside to dry, and then I'll come back and show you the next step. That's as far as I'm going to go right now. I'll take it outside in the sun and let it dry. It'll probably take about 10 minutes or so. And then I'll come back in, and when it's bone dry, I can go on to the next step. All right, see you then. Hi everybody, we're back, and I just watched the first part of this video, and I realized that my perspective on this house is a little wonky. It actually is at an angle, so I'm going to fix that right now. I bet you all love me for this, but it actually is going down a little bit here. Ignore those drips. And this, so if this had like siding on it, it would all kind of be going it looks horrible, but that's And then this, please stand by. This porch is a little bit more of an angle right here. And then you'll be able to see a little bit of the side of that porch right there. Boy, this house sure aged, didn't it? I'm gonna let it dry, but this is going to be, I just kind of want to get it to feel that it is at an angle.
Now, was that Naples yellow with some white?
Yeah, but too much. Everything's so wet. I'm trying to paint it. We were watching the camera angles. I'm trying to paint over here at this angle for everybody to make it easier for you to see. These lines would be going down. So that's going to put it at a little bit better perspective. These lines will be going up. When I say lines, it's just kind of some siding. I don't know. Boy, this house is getting shabby, shabbier and shabbier. I'm going to ignore it. Sorry. I'm going to ignore it for a little bit because we always say that and then we can't. Just want to get that feel. And I'm going to go in and do my greens again. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to I am going to fix this window. Just kind of put some, we don't want to leave black holes as windows. We just want to make it kind of interesting. My paint is so wet. I always have that when I'm painting on camera. I'm going to go to a smaller brush.
Is that your 1/2 inch?
Yeah. Just kind of clean this up a little bit. We got a watercolor kind of feel to it. You know, I'm just going to put this picture away. Don't step on it, Jane. I just put my tablet right down. I'm doing exactly what I tell people not to do. Don't start fussing with something, but I'm frustrated because I'm trying to show that this perspective is not as wonky as you think. So this window inside here is going to be very dark. And so with a smaller brush, I'm going to start doing some work on my foliage here. Going behind this fence. I lost my water, it kind of blended into the sky. Oops, pick that up. And I'm making my bushes lighter at the top where the light would hit them. And here's my, I'm gonna work some more on my pine tree, sorry. And I'll probably be going back again and cutting the sky into it. It's just a back and forth thing. So, I'm going to go back in with a different color water back there. I'm going to make it a little bit more aqua. So I'm using a phthalo green with white, just so I can make it pop. Yeah, this looks like a haunted house, Jane. Now I can see my water. I feel a little bit better about that. I'm going back to the house here. Just I'm gonna put some kind of window frame here.
And what color is that?
It's just a mess. I don't know what it is. It's just called stuff.
All right.
And there's my sky back there. You know, now I it's hard to believe, but I think I get more in the groove once I put my reference down. Because then I can do whatever I want. And I needed that reference though to go back and check on my perspective. Yeah, it's still weird. This might be one of those paintings that I have to be alone with for a while and try to fix it. You know what I do when I have a real bad area? I'll show you. I'm going to take some green, Hooker's green, and this is actually in the photograph. I'm just going to go over with like a big branch here. Heh, take that. I think we're going to have to let this dry again, Jane. At some point, we'll break it up into 3 sections because I have really soaked it. I'm going to put some more light on my bushes out here. And I know you're thinking, how many times is she going to cover that one line? But all right, I'm going to go in and put some nice charming colors, maybe some straight purple here, and I use some light blue just to kind of give that porch a nice cool feel. This is going to be white, this is going to be lighter, it's going to be better. I have plans. So and one thing you can do to start really brightening this up, watch this. I'm going to just show you how this painting is going to brighten up. I just got some cadmium red light and a little bit of orange, and just, I'm gonna pop it in some different areas here, so.
Ooh, flowers.
Yeah, let's brighten up this scene. It's getting pretty scary. And you don't want to put them everywhere, and you don't want to make polka dots. Maybe some white ones down here. So, I think I'm gonna extend my fence a little bit longer. I gotta go past that pole a little bit. It's gonna be okay, I can save it. You know, every single painting we struggle with, of course, at some point, but they don't always turn out, but you always learn something in every single painting. So it's not a waste.
And you're just doing, that was Naples yellow on the fence that you added with white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and what I learned in this lesson was I need to study my perspective before I get in here and show people how to what I'm doing. I thought the perspective looked so simple, but it's never really that simple. These are clouds back here. I'm just trying to brighten everything up. Just by putting a fresh layer on really helps. Now if I were painting this in the studio by myself, I really would be letting this dry. A lot, many times. Get that nice feel.
And that's like cooker's green and
It's
white
just-
and
yeah,
some
it's
yellow
like, yeah,
and
I'm just-
whatever's on the
I'm
brush.
struggling with this house. This house, it's wider here and goes down here, but I really have to study it. And I'm going to take some pure white and just kind of cut in around this guy. It's really too wet to do it, but that's my plan. So everything's wet, Jane, and I'm going to finish this path. Maybe I'll put some Naples yellow down here. Anybody can do a painting like this, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this house. It could be any house. Or you could just do the fence and the shrubbery without a house. So, but yeah, I'm determined to get that straightened out, and I will be doing that. Okay, we'll see in a little bit. I'm going to let this dry. So, I'm just taking some white, maybe with a touch of Naples yellow, and filling in each slat where this siding is. And it just looks a little bit better. I had to have a one-on-one with this without being filmed because I was so frustrated. So, it's kind of looking better, I think. And I'm going to brighten up this side. You know, everything can, when it gets muddy, everything gets a little bit dark. And once it dries, you can put that other layer. Do you see I'm negative painting around that tree? And it just makes everything pop. That's a shadow under this eave of the porch. Okay, notice I filled in the window and I put a little bit of, you don't want to make dark holes, and a little bit of sky reflecting on the grass, and maybe there's a little bit of green from the trees reflecting. It's just that we just don't want it to be, this window's dark, but it's broken by the pole or the pillar in front, so I'm not that concerned about it. In just this little bit of time, I put a ton of paint on this painting. I want to re-emphasize how you do these fences. You can make a big white shape, but you just want to fill in the cracks between each post, or they're not posts, what are these, slats? Just kind of like that. You know, this fence is not new. Now I've spotted these flowers. I'm going to pop them again. A little orange and a little cad red light or cad red medium. I don't even know which one this is, to be honest. Put some pure orange. I just love how these nice warm colors pop against all the coolness we have going with the greens and the blue. Maybe I'll put a few flowers. You know, you don't want to get carried away. That can ruin a painting by overdoing it. Because we all get to that point where we're like, oh, this looks good. And I think I'll do it 1,000,000 times. And then it doesn't work anymore. It's overkill. If we can see the flowers, then we can see a few leaves, right?
And that's more of a cad yellow that you're doing now?
Yeah, with the hookers. And maybe some stems. Just little suggestions. Oops, it's a little bit red. But these are, I'm just kind of showing you how I do these finishing touches on my, do you notice I didn't put every leaf by doing my bushes, but I just suggested a few at the end, and it's effective. Well, this is the light that's hitting the top of this bush over here. You know, I couldn't just paint the scene without putting the water in the background. It's just, I can't. It's who I am. And then I could go back in with my tree and put some lights on some of the branches and dark pockets in some. And before I finish, I will probably pick up my bigger brush, hit some light blue and some white, and kind of finish up my sky with some nice big fresh brush strokes. Gonna cut in my tree again. Oop, drip. Always keep that rag in your hand. Drip. And that's about it. What I want to explain and how far we're going. Maybe I'll cast a shadow I always say that's about it, and then I see maybe some shadows.
And that's your basic shadow color?
Yeah, it's a purple actually and a blue.
Okay.
Just kind of laying it flat on the path to make this path look like it's lying flat on the earth. There's a little bit of. But I think that's about all I'm going to show you with this painting. Who knows, tomorrow I could come in here and maybe work on it a little bit more, but I don't think so. I kind of like the freshness of where it is. I might brighten up the water a little bit. And that's it. Maybe I'll put a little reflection up here on the window. You know, there's always more things you can do, but do you want to? You know, the more you say, the more you have to say. And that could be dangerous because then we're going to overdo it. I'm mixing some cad yellow light with some white and some light blue just to see what would happen here in the water. But is that too green?
I think it's too green.
Too green.
In my opinion.
Well, you know, Jane, she knows more about painting than she ever thought she would know.
Yeah, someday I'll try it.
But what did you say? It makes you look at the whole world different, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
She actually sees the holes between the trees, not just the trees. The sky holes, like that. The little areas between the trees that. Just brighten up that water a little bit. Now, one more thing. This is very important. If we have one area with that kind of color and there's no other, that color is nowhere else, it just doesn't work. You need that color spread somewhere else for a little unity. I did pop some down here, but if you just put a little bit of that color, look at the difference. If you just look at this painting right now with the color only there, and then if I move my hand, what a difference.
It takes your eye through around the painting.
It really does. So I might even put a little bit up here.
Almost looks like there's a ghost in the window.
Maybe. Could be. So that's it. I'm going to put some water holes through these leaves over here. Kind of just thins out all that we have going on here. And then my signature is always, I'll just take some white and pop some sailboats out here on the horizon. So that's, I think I'm pretty much done with this as far as I'm going to go. Maybe I might work on it a little bit more at some point, but I think I've got all the things I wanted to say. I think I did it. That was a struggle with the house. I was freaking out. I'm sorry I had to leave you guys while I fixed it, but I was freaking out and I had to just really concentrate on trying to get the angles right. So it's always just a friendly, fun scene, and I hope you join us again. And also, if you want a full class, you can go to our website, my website at janeslivkagallery.com, and go to the shop page. You can order a full class for an hour for like $25, and they're very instructional. And on there are my supply list and more information about the brushes that I use. So anyway, please hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. And thank you so much.